My name is David Meffam and I'm the UK Director of Human Rights Watch. Human Rights Watch is an international independent human rights organisation. We document human rights abuses in some 90 countries and territories around the world, and then we use our research to press governments and others to better respect and fulfil human rights. Human Rights Watch also works to raise wider public awareness and understanding of human rights issues, and in part we do that through our annual film festival. Last year here in London at the annual film festival we chose 5 Broken Cameras as our lead film for the film festival. I found the film heart-rendering and sobering, but also uplifting. I'm delighted that Guy Davidi, the filmmaker, is with us here tonight to talk about the film and some of the challenges and the issues that it raises. Guy, many congratulations on the film. It's a wonderful film. Do you want to start by saying a few words about yourself? How did you come to be a filmmaker?
Well, I started quite early. I was 16 when I made my first fiction film as a high school student. So I was actually doing films even before I was supposed to do my military service, and that was something that helped me later on when I refused to do my military service to give me a costume, to give me something to do, some kind of goal that maybe helped me throughout these very difficult years when I refused to doing my military service at the age of 18. And I think I mentioned this because this was the first point where I started being more aware of political issues in Israel and about not yet the Palestinian narrative, but just the consequences of living in Israel on my personal life because of the political context. But then I started doing documentaries just later on in my 20s, and yeah.
Great. Let's turn now to the film itself, 5 Broken Cameras. It tells the story of Ahmad and his family. When did you and Ahmad meet, and when did you decide to turn his recordings into a film?
So I came to Berlin in 2005, really a few weeks after the start of when the villagers discovered that the separation fence is going to pass over the land, and they start the non-violent movement. I've been following the non-violent movement from 2003 as a video activist. I was filming different non-violent struggles in different places. As an Israeli activist, like other friends of mine, we went together to support people in their struggle. And when the movement reached to Berlin, we all felt that this is going to be something very strong because the people seemed very persistent, and even after a few months, normally after the separation fence is built, people just quit and they stopped the non-violent movement. But in Berlin they continued on, so we all felt it's going to be very strong. I wanted to stay in that village and to do more than just short video reports, so I started doing my first feature-length documentary in that village, and for that I stayed for more than 2 months in a row inside the village, even during the week, which was a very special thing to do for an Israeli, because it's not just coming to the demonstration, but also understanding what it means to live under occupation emotionally and how it affects your life as a citizen of the village. So during this 2-3 months in 2005, I met Ahmad. Well, it wasn't very difficult to meet him because he became an important figure for the village because he was the cameraman of the village. Not like other cameramen that filmed from outside, or international filmmakers or Israeli filmmakers, or the media people that were coming even from other villages, but just coming for the Friday demonstration. Ahmad was there all the time, so he could get all this important footage that no one else could get. So it became he became an important figure, and we all supported him. And this is, by the way, how the idea of the 5 Broken Cameras came about, because we always remembered, I remember that we received emails about his cameras, that he lost a camera or that he needed videotape. So a lot of people helped him. So that's how we all met Ahmad. But for many years he was filming. Little by little he became more and more professional with it, starting to give his footage to news agencies. But he didn't think of doing a film for many years. The idea came on little by little after he saw other filmmakers doing their film, and he wanted to do his footage. So in 2009 he approached me after filming so many years, and he told me, "Well, Guy, I want to do my film." And I want this film to be, I want to do my film for my footage. And I actually didn't think there is a chance to do another film about the subject. And he thought to do an objective film about Adib and about Phil, especially after Phil's death that we see in the film. And I actually said, no, I don't think there's enough reason, because there were other films that were done. But then I thought to myself that maybe if we tell the story from his perspective, and he will be a third character, and everything that he experienced throughout his life will become part of the film, then we have a chance to do a complete new film. And the first image that I saw that I was convinced that this is possible was this old man blocking a jeep from taking someone to prison. And when I watched that image, I asked him, who is this guy? And he told me, that's my father, and he's blocking the jeep from taking my brother to prison. And then I thought, wow, how he feels at that moment as a cameraman and then as a son. So that for me was a good excuse, and also it was politically more interesting for me to be in a role where I'm empowering Ahmad's voice. Yeah. I'm not there as an Israeli filmmaker giving my point of view as an Israeli, but I'm there only to construct the story, to give his voice. And the story of Jibril and all the family, this is all things that we discovered later on in his footage that Ahmad was filming for many years without even thinking this would be part of a film.
Of course. Tell us a little bit more about some of the sort of, if you like, the practical challenges that you and Ahmad faced when you were trying to put the film together and to make it work.
Well, first of all, we have different privileges and we come from different backgrounds, so that's played an important role, because I have accessibility to Ahmad's village. Ahmad doesn't have accessibility to Israel. I come from the cultural milieu, and I'm a filmmaker, and Ahmad is not. So we had a lot of challenges to production-wise, to build a strong production, to be able to make the film together, and also not, he had to give up a lot of his control to give this Israeli guy, to edit the film and to write the text sometimes, which was also very delicate for me, because I wrote the text, but it's his voice. So it's a very politically, we are always thinking whether it's the right thing to do or not. Then you think that what's important is to do the film, and then we try to find solutions for these challenges. A second challenge, I think, which was important for Ahmad, was to expose himself so much. It was a long process to be able to accept that he will become a character and his fragilities as well.
This film has now been shown around the world, including in Israel. How have people responded, perhaps particularly your fellow Israelis, given the critical and the challenging nature of the film and what it reveals about life for ordinary Palestinians under Israeli occupation?
The success was very big. I mean, I didn't expect that much of success in Israel, because not just because of political, but the subject, but because people feel they've seen everything. People have this kind of arrogance as well, or feeling that they know everything about Palestine already, and that there's nothing to renew for them. And they also know these patterns of documentary film that they're used to, that are kind of trying to accuse them or trying to shame them. And we took a very special approach, which is we used a very simple tone, very delicate, non-accusing tone. And I think with the drama of the story and the personal elements of it, this is very striking for a lot of Israelis' audience. So the reaction in general is good, but it's a complex society, so of course there are a lot of objections, and sometimes people come out of the film shouting. And just recently I've screened in a university, and the people told me that I'm ruining the country, and left the auditorium. So you have everything.
I mean, since the film was made, of course, serious violence has broken out between Israel and Palestinian armed groups in Gaza. What's your take on recent developments, and do you think that your film and films like it can in some way bring home the human costs of conflict to people?
The challenge in filmmaking and in art in general, I think, is that everything is transparent. We're not able to see or to measure the effect. And sometimes the effect is something that is, we see the effect of it after many years. So it's always a very ambiguous question for me to answer. But I really feel that the film is doing influence, because I see reaction of people coming out and telling me the film changed my life. And at the end, people, when their consciousness is changing, their politics will change it. at the same time. And I'm trying to bring the film also to school kids who, before they're going to do their military service, and I think there is a change in the films, but we're not gonna see an immediate effect on the current affairs that we see in the place, taking place.
And tell us about Ahmad and Jibril. How are they doing and how are the family?
Well, Ahmad is very, very happy because the film got big success in so many places, and he's invited to screenings in parts of the world he never knew, I think, both of us. So he's very happy, and he's very happy also because he feels the film gives meaning and gives meaning to all of the dramatic events that he's been through. So he's very happy with the film, and I think his family is also. They have now a challenge because he travels a lot, so he needs to be home a little bit. But in general, they're very happy. In some screenings, also his wife and his children went to see his film. They all went to the States to see Michael Moore in his film festival in Traverse City. So they have nice experiences from the film and nice fruits for his work.
And what about you, Guy? I mean, after 5 Broken Cameras, what are you planning next for us?
A lot of times I've been asked by Israelis why all of your films are about Palestine and about the West Bank and in Arabic, because it's not my first film, and I've made several in the West Bank. So I've been thinking of how to address my society, and my interest especially is about the price and the consequence of living in a militaristic society, and how it affects on sensitivities, on fragilities of the people, of Israeli people. So I want to create a story that follows the influences of militarism into the educational system, and then through the military service. Hopefully it will take me a few years to come again to show it here in the UK.
Well, we look forward very much to your next film, and thank you again for producing such a wonderful film, and thank you for sharing your perspective on the film and some of the issues that it raises. If you'd like to know more about where 5 Broken Cameras is showing, then do go to the Facebook page of 5 Broken Cameras, and if you'd like to know more about the work of Human Rights Watch, go to our webpage, hrw.org, where you can find out more about the work that Human Rights Watch does, not just in the Middle East, but around the world. Thank you very much.